particular ambition, this I cannot conceal. Forgot my native culture, live like a vulture. From the white man I had to steal, because he made me walk. I said I walk, oh Lord, no pay. I toil.
Welcome back to the Now Morning Show, 17 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock in Trinidad and Tobago. And now we're speaking about the Pan-African Festival 2025. Joining us this morning in studio is no stranger to this set, Zakiya Uzoma-Wadada, the Executive Chair of the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning.
Good morning, Natasha.
Welcome
Good morning
back
to everyone in the studio and, of course, to your viewing audience. Yes.
So time flies.
I'm telling you, back here again.
Can you believe it?
Yes, indeed.
I can only imagine how it's flying for you, because I know you and the committee will have been so busy with everything that's taking place.
So far, yes. It's been continues to be a challenge, but, we continue to have that commitment. It is not just about ourselves, it's about our people, it is about our nation, So we continue to work hard and to make sure that this festival, takes place every year, and that we are able to add a little something each year, as we continue to build and grow it, yes.
I mean, it's the greatest celebration of Africa outside of Africa.
That it is indeed,
and
yes.
Your team definitely always hands on the ground.
Yes.
I'm glad that you mentioned the evolution, because I know we discussed off air, there are some new things coming up. But before we get to that, one of the things that we would have been speaking about on the show previously would have been the lecture series that took place. How has that been going?
So it has been good. We launched on the 15th of June with Dr. Lewis Gordon, and this year our focus was on the whole issue of decolonization and reparations. And the first his lecture was about the decolonization of the mind, and with a focus on Frantz Fanon, because this year we also celebrate the 100th anniversary of Frantz Fanon, one of the great Pan-Africanists coming right out of the Caribbean. And then we moved on to the next discussion, because we've been having the discussions on Sundays, and it would have been online. And so the first one we had was the miseducation of the African child. And it was really a very, very interesting discussion. I think TTT even carried it on their YouTube station, because what the highlights of it was a very young student, from St. Joseph's Convent, St. Joseph, and she was so eloquent and so clear, and she spoke about her participation in the National African History Quiz, which we also do together, and how it had impacted her understanding of herself and her history, and how important it was for young people to have that exposure. So it was really a very, very, very good and well-received panel discussion. And then last week we spoke on reparations with the chair of the National Reparations Committee. And also this Sunday coming, we are going to do the decolonization of spaces. We've been talking about that for a long time. We would like to see Oxford Street renamed Kwame Ture Street. We have to do that. We have to do that. And I've been there. We have been working with the mayor, and we are hoping that it happens. We have to remove Christopher Columbus. We have to make our physical space reflective of ourselves and our history, and not that of continuing that of the European history. So we have a lot of work to do. But we continue the advocacy, and we know that with time, the transformation will take place.
And we're seeing that transformation happening slowly but surely, and particularly with the investments in the youth, as you was mentioned, the quiz that takes place. Everybody looks forward to it every single year.
Yes.
And when we were speaking off air, you did reference the fact that there is a new addition to the festival, the African Heritage Camp for Teenagers.
Yes. We really think it is becoming more and more important to help our children develop I call it a reference point, a space within themselves and their existence to which they can refer to find strength, to can find guidance, and therefore they need to understand who they are and how they relate to the spaces in which they find themselves. If we are not able to do that and to ground them into the facts about themselves, their history, their own worldview as Africans, then it's very easy for them to become, involved in negative activity. And we want to face the fact that, the majority of persons in prison are African people. The majority of them who are becoming involved in crime are African youth, and therefore we have to do something to change that paradigm, to change what is driving them in that direction, and help them to be better, what you would call it, and say, grounded in their own reality.
Yeah.
You see, and therefore the idea is to teach them, give them some African history, but with a focus on the achievements of Africans. And before enslavement, you see, one of the major challenges that we have with our education is that we start our children's education about themselves with enslavement.
Yeah.
So that from the time they meet Africans in their history books, it is when they were enslaved. And therefore they don't understand that previous to enslavement, we were a people that were on their own, their own pathway to development. We had empires, and so much of what is manifested in the world today as development came out of Africa.
Exactly.
Our children don't know that.
No.
They don't know of their heroes. We don't. For example, I was speaking to the person who is going to become the charge d'affaires of the Embassy of Ghana. They're trying to set up one. And he was telling us about, how, I found his name is in my head, how one of our own, oh my God.
That's okay.
Not Henry Sylvester Williams. Oh gosh, I think we'll come back. But he is very well renowned on the continent, you see? But our children don't even know of this person in schools, George Patmore.
Okay, there we go.
Right, exactly. Yes, it's going to come. Our children don't even know who is that.
Yeah.
Even when we had the representative of the Ansanta Hene speaking here on the television, he was right here on your show. He was speaking about the history of Fort George, that it was built by an African from Ghana. Our children don't know that.
No.
And this is what we try to do with the African History Quiz, share this kind of information, make them know their value as citizens of the world, and that they have always been great and that we would always continue to be great, Yes.
And that's something that is so important because, again, if that's how you start, how are you going to end? So bringing on that formation, that transformation as well. Right. And listen, we could talk about this, particularly, we could talk about this all day.
Yes,
but let's go to the Pan-African Festival. It's launching on the 25th of July.
25th, but it's not launching. It launched on the 25th of May. What we're doing is the grand opening. Right, so the grand opening is taking place on the 25th of July, and we want everyone to come out this year. We are doing it on the evening of the 25th. The village will be open for 8 nights. We're going from the 25th to the 1st. It's the first time we've done that in a long time, a full week, and we are hoping, and this is because people keep saying the village closes too soon, so we are trying to extend it a bit, and so that we can engage as many of the public as possible, give our entrepreneurs an opportunity because they have more days, they have more opportunity for them to sell and promote their products, and of course our artists, because every day the village is also filled with performances, and this year we are also including bois in the village. The tradition, which we call we look at it also as an African martial art, or stick fighting, has always been very closely linked to our emancipation, you see, and therefore we thought it is important to bring it into the emancipation space. So we're going to set up a gael in the village, and we're going to actually have a night, on the ancestral night, we're going to have what we are calling bois in the village. Yes? So in addition to that, of course, we have the Pan and the Sunday Family Day. We have the Pan with young people. We have the Pan for the seniors. And, of course, we have jazz. Yeah. Everything that you want, you can find. We have calypso. We have rapso. There is dancing, African dancing and drumming, the chantwells. every aspect of our culture we are showcasing at the village and giving our artists an opportunity to perform, you know, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also going to be, for many, it's your one-stop shop. You can go, you can get something to eat, you can shop, you can do everything that you need to do.
Some of the most unique things, you know, our African-inspired items, I like to call them. And I think people love to come to the village, and they come to shop, because they know this is one time a year I'm going to get this, I'm going to meet these vendors, so they really come and they shop. So come, enjoy yourselves. Register the teens for the African Heritage Camp.
Right.
There's an online registration. Please register them. They're going to learn a little African language. They're going to learn some dancing, drumming, African martial arts. You know, we're going to teach them about their history and self-confidence and also entrepreneurship and wealth creation.
Something that is.
So that, yes, it is going to be a very interesting experience for the children. And we still have our Youth Day for all the children, all the different camps that come to the village, and they can participate in the workshops as well.
So there is so much going on, and the
there
beautiful
is.
thing is that every weekend there is something to do, and even during the weekend when the village is
every
open
day,
also.
every day. From the 25th to the 1st, every single day, there is going to be an activity in the village. Yes.
And also you have a Unity Reggae concert
happening
as well. Yeah,
yes,
really
yes,
the
reggae concert is happening. Yes, all of the different events. Sometimes it is just so much. So we are hoping that as things get closer, we can also still come and give some more details, you know, to have time to talk about the specific shows and the different artists and so. And of course, we are doing a special tribute to both Choctaws and Twiggy this year in our annual Chickamauga Calypso concert.
So there's so much going on. So we know
Lots
you
of
definitely
things
have to come
happening.
back, because there's a lot to talk about. But before you go, Zakiya, let's talk a little bit about the evolution of the Pan-African Festival in Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, dear girl. Natasha, we as an organization, the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago, have worked really, really hard to build this festival. I don't know if we remember the days when the average person, they just said maybe the Pan-African youth were just struggling just to make sure we remember that August 1st was Emancipation Day. Because remember, August 1st was celebrated as Columbus Day, of all people. We celebrated that. And we had to fight there was a struggle to get it recognized as Emancipation Day. And I think in 1985, it eventually was recognized by the government as a national holiday, making Trinidad and Tobago the first independent country in the world to recognize August 1st as a holiday. Yes, Emancipation Day.
Yeah,
yes?
Zakiya, unfortunately,
we have to go.
We ran out of time.
But we have enough time.
We do have enough time, and you're going to come back. But I'm glad that that's something that you ended with, because it's so important. It ties back to what we were talking about earlier, which is where history starts, where we learn history, is where we can probably transform moving forward.
Indeed.
Thank you for joining us this morning. It's been a pleasure, as always.
Yes.
Zakiya Uzoma-Wadada here with us this morning on the Now Morning Show, Executive Chair of the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago. Stay tuned. There's more coming up after this break.